Everybody, I realize now that it's super confusing. My shirt is Fortnite and my hoodie is Rekka. So it's Reknita. Fartnita. It's so confusing. It's like when you're reading a comic book and they didn't tell you, but they're going across both pages instead of going down the page. Daggum it. Then you get all confused. Or the first time you read manga and you're like, what? What just happened? I don't know what's going on here. Bumbles bounce. Yes, TJ. Bumbles do bounce. That's some of the best show ever. It reminds me I need to go do it. Hi, everybody. It's time for a Minute to Skim It, where I'm going to tell you what's going on in the books that are coming out this week, but without spoilers, because that would be no fun. It is a big week. Normally, this week has historically been like a wasteland of nothingness. Books they forgot to put out earlier in the month and or were delayed and are like, okay. But this week, they just said, we'll just drop all the really great stuff on top of next week's other great stuff. So I hope your pocketbooks are okay. I hope you get cash for Christmas / Hanukkah because you're going to need it. I'm excited to tell you guys all about these cool books that are coming out. It is a mystery. Awesome. All right, let's get started because there's a ton of stuff. Everybody, and welcome back. I am Miss Jen from the Houston, Texas area. I own Space Cadets Collection, and I am a 30-year comic book nerd. Been selling the books for a long time, and I love them. It's not ever going to be a circumstance in which I'm just like, this is my job. I'm going to tell you about books because I must do it. Robotic person. I love comic books. I love them so much, people accuse me of not ever giving a negative review. The biggest negative review I've probably ever given is, I don't understand what I just read. Because I figure the people that made the book probably are smarter than me. So anyway, let's get to reviewing and see if there's anything on my list this week. It's like, I don't know what I just read. I know what I was just reading for this one. This is really cool. Okay. You guys might have seen the news drop that good friends of ours over at Prana have decided to put out what has not been out for a long time, which is a magazine about comic books. Zdarsky was putting out a cool little newsprint one for a while, and I miss it like crazy, but think this is kind of in like the maybe the son of Zdarsky news or whatever. This one is gonna be fun. It's gonna have a lot of silly things in it, and this one has a really great interview by Rob Guillory. This is actually the one I'm reviewing is the 0 issue, which is like crazy money online right now. It's like a $75 book because it wasn't actually released. It was just produced as a proof of concept for what was going to be happening for these. It has pullbox power rankings in it, so it has a list of who they reckon was the best, artists and writers and books and that kind of stuff for the year. And of course, that aforementioned really awesome interview with Rob about why when he started, he didn't do the normal, most of the time when you show up, you just get bit story in an anthology or those kinds of things. He just came out of the gate kicking with Chew, which went for 60 issues or something. Yeah, Corey, we haven't had anything like this since Wizard. Now Wizard's really big, and comics and magazines going to have sales data, kind of like books that have become more money because everyone's super excited about them. So it's going to have some of that stuff. This Zero doesn't have that yet, of course, because it wasn't ready for it, but it's well made. You might consider adding it to your pull list because it is going to be one of those things that if your local comic shop doesn't know that you want it, they might miss it. Because when people are ordering and they're like, okay, I got to make sure I get my Marvel, my DC, my Image, my other good stuff, right? They might miss this kind of stuff, which is, I don't know where it's going to be in the ordering system, but I miss this kind of stuff. There are people in the world that are digital to the core, and I'm always going to be a print girl. So this makes me very happy, and it's a fun cover. So consider this thing. All right. I had a super sweet gentleman come by my store this weekend who is a creator out of, I believe, Brooklyn. We talked for a little bit, and he had this comic book that he was hoping that the store might carry. Although we've kind of because of space considerations, we're more likely to carry indie from real local to us folk. And we're just completely out of space right now. But I did buy a copy from him because I always want to support people's dreams. And I bought a copy of this from him. It is in the old school style of mentioning Wizard. Do you remember they used to have always, I forgot what this segment was called. It was like action figure theater or something like that. Do you guys remember what they used to call that segment? It was either in that or in Toy Fair. They had always had action figures talking to each other and had some kind of storyline going on. Well, this is just like that, but this features the Golden Girls as the main characters and throw them into essentially what is a Mandalorian universe, which is kind of funny. So the story is essentially about them. They have won a ship. I can't remember how they won the ship. How'd they get the ship? They got a Star Wars ship somehow and ended up on, I believe, kind of Tatooine. I think it's Tatooine. And their big fight is with Jabba because he allows his Rancor to poo in front of their, in their yard. And also part of the story, one of the girls adopts what she calls Doug, but it is a Sebulba figure. And also there's a misunderstanding. The Mandalorian comes by and one of the ladies thinks that he's asking her for a date, but instead he's asking another one of them. And then the other one gets stuck with babysitting Grogu. I don't know. It's really cute. I truly, truly thought it was going to be kind of a raunchy thing, but it's not. It's really fun. Sure, Blanche will try to wear the Leia outfit. I don't remember that happening, but it's neat because at the very end, then it kind of pitches other things that might happen. So it's figures from all other kinds of parts of action figure universe, and it's just usually my gut reaction is to books like this, it's lazy arting, right? If you don't make art, but in this case, made outfits for them. It's really cool. They do an outfit change and their little belts are twist ties for when you have to close your bread. Pete Grimshaw is in the room. Hey, Pete. So anyway, this one is really fun. You might try to hunt it down. Let me see if I can give you I should have had this actually typed out, but is it backwards if I show it? No, there's the guy. So if you want to get some of these or other things that they create, there is their thing. So it looks like there's going to be more to come. Super fun. And it is rated PG, just as it says. All right, here is the perfect example of a book that I really went into fully intending to be yawn. Why would I've been reading the other Gargoyles books. It hasn't really hit with me. I think I watched Gargoyles a little bit when I was young, or younger, but I don't think I ever really had it on my list of this is my favorite thing ever. I was more of X-Men, The Tick. That was my jam during this time. So they got me. It's like they looked into my soul and said to themselves, you know what we could do to get Jen on board is do some true crime. And that's what they did. So this one's a delightful tale. It's a good little, like, encapsulated, you don't have to know a thing about anybody in this universe to really, really love this thing. Hey, Barlord. So it is a tale about, I'm assuming it is also New York because that's where they're from, about a mystery that occurs in a 4-story like apartment building. One of those old school, cool ones, right? Where you have the super living on the bottom floor, and sometimes they're great and sometimes they're not. So in this tale, the super is not good, but the super disappears after there's an explosion on the 4th floor. So it is all about, it's supposed to be the main guy and his girlfriend, who's a human. I don't know all these things. The head gargoyle, I forgot his name. And his girlfriend. His girlfriend's an actual cop, I guess, or an investigator. Are supposed to be investigating this, but they are overheard. Thank you, Goliath. They are overheard by 2 of the other really cool gargoyles. And so those guys actually come and like ask all of the different people that live there a bunch of questions and kind of try to suss out what the answer is. But I will just tell you that the actual answer to what has been going on and what has happened to the owner of the building is so good and heartwarming and a perfect Christmas story without any actual Christmas in it. I'm just telling you, if you want to have a feel-good thing to read and or share with your family for the holidays, you might just pick this up because it would be a perfect thing to just like bring home, leave on the coffee table for all of your friends and relatives to read while they have a quiet time. Thank you. It's Eliza Maza. Thank you to Jay, who knows everything. I'm used so much to you guys having my back for the stuff I don't know. I'm so thankful. But anyway, this might actually be my pick of the week of this outside of the normal, like absolute everything that I love so much. This one is so delightful. You got it. You got to pick this up. If you're just going to spend a couple extra bucks this month or this week when you go out, get this book. Keith David was Goliath, and you love that show as a kid. Oh, I love it. All right, Red Hood and the Joker. This is the next matchup for DCKO. It is exactly as you expect it to be. This one is, there were a couple that happened last week, or one of the ones that happened last week had real good twist stuff in it. This one is more straightforward in its battling. This book sounds like a trap. It might sound like a trap, but it is true, genuine, them being the smartest version of themselves. So most of the time, if you guys have noticed that the matchups are from the POV of just one of the people. The POV in this one is from Red Hood, Jason Todd. I think I've got that right. So I like that. So you can kind of see into their thought process for why they're choosing what forms. So if you guys have missed this, which I'm sure you haven't missed it yet, is that that Darkseid's the one who sets the first battle. He chooses their forms and the place. And so after that one, then one of them gets to choose where the location is and what version of themselves. So in this case, it's pretty straightforward for Red Hood. And Joker doesn't seem to do anything super crazy other than be his own crazy self, but it is kind of a cool look into the psychology of both of those characters and how they choose and how they do their battle. And both are, well, Joker's pretty terrifying in this one, I will tell you. But it's a great battle. You'll enjoy it. It's not obvious to me in this matchup who might be the person who would win. So it probably won't be obvious to you either. So you can go ahead and pick favorites if you like. The Crowbar, yeah. Okay, so this is direct follow-up to the big long storyline that has been going on with Doom. in which he is basically had taken over all of the Marvel Universe, like declaring up all part of Krakoa, and having Doom bots, established everywhere for that he couldn't be. This book kind of opens with you having the like General Thunderbolt General Ross, sorry, he was like a prisoner of Doom previous to this book. He is one of those guys that like broke out. He like planted a flag of America on Latveria soil, which has created a whole bunch of trouble, and is not happy about it. The president, who just happens to be previous Falcon, Captain America, Sam. So that is a little bit what the story is about. Their relationship and like how the president's going to handle this kind of stuff, and the shock of Doom being gone leaves a big power hole for Latvians, who really relied on him because he's always been their center core. And also follows the back half of the storyline, which is the reason why Doom is gone, is because Valeria, who is his goddaughter, who also happens to be the child of the Fantastic Four couple, Sue and Reed, she has found out that she is the sole heir to everything that Doom once owned. It's official. It's part of his will. And also because of at first they thought maybe it wouldn't be binding because Valeria is under 18, but because where the will was written in the law of Latveria, anyone of any age can be willed these things. And so this is really a little bit the family trying to like suss through what that looks like. They're not worried about Valeria so much being like, sometimes you worry about kids having too much power and money and whatever, like going off the deep end. It's not so much that they're worried about. So, and also, just so you know, there are a bunch of Doom bots that are still out there, and some of them may not understand that Doom is gone and has given Valeria everything. And so a little bit of this book is them trying to go and find where the control mechanisms are for the Doom bots, because Valeria is sure that her, godfather would have put in place a way for her to control them once, she was in control of everything. So it's a really great next chapter for where that left off. I'm super proud of Marvel for not just like dropping the storyline and being like, okay, well, that was a fun excursus, but it doesn't mean anything. It definitely means something. So there's a bunch more stuff that goes on in this book. Don't miss it, because there's some important information at the end. The Marvel Winter Break Special. Okay. So I will just tell you in very much truth that there is a storyline that is going on in this book. But due to my short time of being able to read everything very carefully, I did not read this very carefully because I knew there were other storylines I needed to know really well for you guys. But I will tell you, this is a storyline done by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleece, so I know it's good, but I didn't follow it. But it's neat because interspersed in the story, or part of the story, is big chunks of like single splash pages that are like pinups of them in winter gear or doing winter things. So, and it's part of it is like this. So the funny part of the story is that the book opens acknowledging, or Roxxon acknowledging, that they messed up for the swimsuit special, and that they knew that they used AI. I don't know if there was any actual AI in that book, by the way, but that was the way it gets led off, is that they're like, oh, apologies. We will never do such things again. Roxxon says, forgive us. And so that is kind of like the through part of the story. So there are great, beautiful pinups in this book by a bunch of top artists, and then some storyline that ties it all together that gets pitched off by that cool Roxxon story. So anyway, there you go. All right, Batman Static. The first one was so good. and we sold them out so fast. It was a little bit surprising to us. We do sell a lot of Batman Beyond, a bunch of static, but we didn't know if a book with them paired together would turn any heads, and of course it did. So what happened in the last issue is that one of the classmates, I believe, ends up being in the wrong place at the wrong time, gets exposed to Q something virus. I don't think it's a virus. Anyway, but so what that means to them as a character is that if they're around anything that is powered with Q power, or any of the people that are part of, I don't know, is it called Q unit? He like, it's like stuff happens to him. So it is a whole bunch about, this was like him starting out in the hospital and him trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And unclear, and that's him in the center there that looks like a little like off button. So it is, oh, I guess because it turns off thing. Gotcha, because it does knock out people's powers. So that is an unraveling mystery of what has happened to him and how powerful he is and those kinds of things. This is a fun book, great Elseworld story. Make two, hello! I just saw you popping on, sorry. And TJ's here. All right, Absolute Wonder Woman. You guys have been waiting for something in this universe to like cross over into something else in the universe for a while, I am sure. I have also been wondering if they're going to keep it separate forever and ever and ever and have them never touch each other. And now the answer is no. They're definitely going to have these characters eventually be in each other's lives. They exist on the same plane of existence, and they're going to cross paths at some point. So I don't know how much of this I can tell you guys without ruining a whole bunch of stuff, except for to tell you there are some really big things we learn about Diana. They definitely cross paths in this book. Diana uses magic to make basically a bat signal, so that's not a big spoiler if you ever wondered how she got in touch. But she like gives something to Batman that allows him to call her. And it's not what you think that she's giving, but she's basically only shown up because she knows he's a detective and has access to police places. And there has been some big, I guess we'll call them murders, in which the symbol of Hecate has been left, but done in blood. And so this is them a little bit trying to figure out if that has anything to do with her, since it seems like it should. And yeah, that's all I can really tell you. This is a spectacular way to get them together and has a bunch of implications for specifically Wonder Woman. So I'm glad that she's still the main part of the storyline. Kind of worry about if Batman shows up. Is it going to be a Batman book now? No. This is really something great about her. So enjoy this one. In Absolute Superman, when we last saw him, this is the storyline called, I think it's called Battle for Kansas. And the people of Kansas have kind of, joined into the fight. But this is Ra's al Ghul basically using a giant kryptonite sword to fight Kal-El. And he seems to be telling Kal-El that he is his dad and wants him to like bow to him and join him in his conquering of, I don't think just Kansas, but everything. And there is, in the last issue, if you haven't read it yet, I'm going to try not to spoil it for you, but something very significant happens in regards to Soul, which is his ship/cape. That is a big part of the story arc that happens here. So if that has been an important part to you, it will be kind of mind-blowing for you here. And just like the other book this week, I don't want to spoil anything for you. So that's as much as I'm going to tell you about what happens in this book. But to let you know that it does come to a head, this big confrontation between them two. And there is something that Khalil does, which will surprise you even more. So don't miss this one this week. And after a long hiatus, because originally Absolute Martian Manhunter was slated to be a 6-issue series, but it was so good and in so much demand that they expanded it to 12. But that did mean that they had to kind of like have a gap between number 6 and 7 so that they could actually, produce the art and the story for you. This is the one book that I love recommending to people, but it is almost like Fight Club, where you can't really tell them what is in the book. It is an experiential thing. Like, you have to experience what Absolute Martian Manhunter is to actually be into it. If someone tries to explain to you what it is, the words that will come out of their mouth, no matter how they say it, will make it sound like a stupid idea. I assure you, because it's so hard to explain what's going on, except for to say that the Martian Manhunter in this book it isn't clear whether it is a physical thing or only something that John can see. It's clear that Martian Manhunter plus the White Martian can be seen by other people and or affect things that are going on in the world. But other than that, there is no way of knowing 100% what can be affected by and what everyone's going to be seeing. The one thing I like that is a through thing for this book, just like if you read Redcoat, where they always say, hi, my name is Simon Pure, although as you will come to know, I'm anything but. That's what the line is in every first page of that book series. There's always hidden in the Absolute Martian Manhunter this saying. Says, but what happens in your head also happens. So that'll give you a real kind of idea of there's a lot of stuff that John sees that not everybody sees, but it's also important. So if you can find the graphic novel, which we've been completely out of and we're trying to get restocked on, do get it. It'd be such a great gift because there's no way people wouldn't like at least the art and what's going on in here. So trippy. Anyway, this is me encouraging you, although many of your friends, if you ask them, what is Absolute Martian Manhunter about? They're all going to say, we can't describe it to you. It's going to sound crazy because that's the way the book's supposed to be. It's supposed to make you feel a little bit unhinged. What is real? What am I looking at? Because if you haven't noticed, the Manhunter is essentially just kind of like this green head that comes out of his head. So, it's so good, y'all. All right, I almost didn't read this book because I was like, I don't remember what went on the last one. I don't know if anything's important going on, but the series continues to be amazing, even 18 issues in. So this book is kind of like maybe a little bit quiet excursus from what has been going on, like big moves. This one mostly focuses on this conversation that is happening between Norman Osborn, who is dressed up in the Spider-Man suit and who has been acting as Spider-Man. No one knows where Peter Parker is. So he is basically at the beginning of the book sitting in the chair in J. Jonah Jameson's office, bleeding all over it. There's much ado being said about like who's going to pay for the damage to the chair and or the carpet. But the cool thing about the discussion that's being had is those two men who have both loved and hated Peter Parker, them trying to decide whether even, does Pete's always believing in them, always believing the best about them, even if they have done terrible, terrible things. Pete's through line is always, I think that if I keep going, you guys could be the best version of yourselves. You could change your mind and become something great. in which it's kind of interesting because you now have Norman in the suit doing Spider-Man things. And it's cool to see Jane Jonah Jameson thinking the same things. It's like, he frustrates me to death. That guy makes me so mad and yell. But is he making me a better person? So there's other storyline stuff that goes on here involving I forgot her name. It's not Red Goblin. Oh, the Red Goblin girl. What's her name? Oh, I was doing so good today. Anyway, there's storylines going on with those guys. But I will tell you that it's the big wrap up for the book kind of lets you know that there is a big hunt. I don't know who the hunter is, that is coming after all the goblins. So that's important to know, since one of our main characters for this book, definitely Goblin. It is Goblin Queen. Thank you. Thank you. That is her name. I appreciate you. Thanks for saving my biscuits. All right. Now this is my fun part. Remembering all 4 of the awesome Age of Revelation books this week and how those things play out, because some of them are almost, there's 2 of them that are almost tied together for like characters that are part of them. So I'm going to open them up so I make sure that I don't get them mixed up for the ones that I thought were hard. The ones that are the X-Men titles are the toughest for me because they're team books and there's a bunch of team stuff that's going on in them. Okay. This one is definitely mostly about the female characters in the team trying to hunt down people that are now missing. So remember, as part of the things that are going on, there's this crazy mutant virus that has been basically killing humans, sometimes killing mutants, but sometimes turning on the mutant gene for humans. And mostly if it gets to a mutant, it like messes up their like it turns on their powers more or messes it all up. It's more severe in like Deadpool, which is this week. So I will talk about that. But this one, is this the boat one? This one is not the boat one. Sorry. Yeah, this is mostly relational. And it is. Okay, this is the boat one. Okay, remember there was a whole group of them that had their own flotilla, essentially, that was separated out. They're not with Revelation, and they're not with the rest of the mutants. They're trying to do their own thing. So this brings that to a head in a very devastational way, and then puts them on some other vehicle, which is also super trippy and fun. So anyway, and a bunch of fire going on this week. That one's fun. Cloak and Dagger. This one's more family related. Cloak and Dagger usually have more power when they're together. This one explains why they have a child, even though they did not have one before the start of the Age of Revelation. Dagger's the one that's the girl, right? Yeah. Dagger has been in this kind of like nowhere part of the universe, kind of like so that she doesn't end up close to Cloak, because although usually that makes them more powerful, now with the mutant thing happening to them, it messes them up. Like if they're around each other for too long, it turns them into like pure light energy and pure dark energy, which are not actually, those people can't be married if they're just energy, I guess. And it explains where the daughter came from, but since Dagger's been hanging out in this like nowhere place, that's when she had her daughter. The daughter has been kind of like is a baby-ish, let's say toddler, but also has some abilities that allowed them to escape the situation that we're in the last issue. So this one, kind of like all these issue number 3s are kind of bringing everything back around to the end of the storyline. So this one is great, great, great family goodies. You will love it. Hello, Marvel and DC Marshlands. That is a long name. The Marvel and DC Marshlands. That's a really cool one. All right. Fire and Ice, Necron. This is written by Sarah Frazetta. Love you, sister. And this is way less steamy than she usually writes. I will just say. It's kind of steamy, but way less steamy than she usually goes. So if you're looking for naked, not in this one, sorry. Fire and Ice is a part of the bigger like fantasy universe that she's been part of. This is a cool story in which you get to find out what the origin is. Necron tells a story of this beautiful woman who falls in love, gets married, but due to circumstances, kind of like has to do sorcery that makes her forget completely her husband, who probably is dead because they get attacked, their whole place. So the whole storyline about where she ends up, because she starts out in her own homeland that's been attacked, escapes to there's a boat that's moored, so she just like floats away with it and gets rescued into this like weird place that has like, I'm guessing, kind of witchy people, and they worship some random weird like wolf kind of creature that is in their basement. This is a bad way of saying it. Basement makes it sound like it's just like a place. Anyway, so all of that comes together. I will say this is a perfect book for people that are fans of The Witcher, specifically that cool storyline that gets you to him having what do they call it? Child of Surprise. There's no Child of Surprise in this, by the way. It just has that feeling, that kind of like cool, like everything's connected. There's a reason why. So if you had $1 for every time you had to lose your memory after casting a spell, no, it's like literally what she has to give up. She has to promise to give up her memory, her entire memory, in order to, what is this thing she's trying to do? Oh, to be able to have a revenge. Basically, to have revenge, she has to give up all her memory, which is weird because she's trying to have revenge because her husband, who she loved, is gone. So anyway, really good. Fire and Ice by Pat Benatar. Sing it for us, Erwin. Awesome sauce. All right, X-Vengers. This one involves a whole bunch of death. This takes place after the death of Vision, and there's somebody else that dies right ahead of this issue. I can't remember. Morningstar is the current Captain America in this book. You also have a very mutated Hawkeye who has 6 arms, which is kind of actually useful for him. I don't know if I'd call that a mutation from his mutation. He's kind of awesome that way. In this one, there is this crazy mutated virus that they're trying to get away from. If it touches them, then I think it's called like a techno. I think this is the technovirus thing. This is terrifying. It's basically them trying to save everybody in this facility. That's, if it touches them, then they die. All the people are dying, and so it's them trying to get away from this stuff and also trying not to have it touch them. So, man, I'm telling you, Revelation is just all kinds of trouble. All right, the next one is my favorite one of the week. The Cootie virus is totally it. It's totally the Cooties. All right, Undead Pool is kind of the most, to me, it's not really the most fun because I really do like the one about Emma and Tony. But Undead Pool, the mutation that it's given him is that it essentially ramps up the level of his cancer, but gives him super healing. So it's always this like fight. The problem is that produces a lot of like energy need or he's got to have something to feed the fighting of the cancer that he's got. Basically, it gets to the point where he essentially loses himself, like mentally, and becomes kind of zombie-esque and just needs to eat things, right, to power this process. And in the last issue, Cable showed up. There is another character that has been part of this universe called, what's this girl's name? I can't remember. It's a blind mutant that he's kind of like had tag around with him. So all of this is in play. Deadpool's trying to get this new blind character to a safe place with a bunch of other mutants, but also he only knows what he's doing right now because he powered out. So this mutant kind of like powered him enough to where he can actually think cognizant thoughts and not be zombie-esque. So this whole issue is about that kind of like dichotomy of like he's sometimes basically a zombie trying to eat people, and other times he thinks he knows what he's doing. And the character I'm talking about is this person right here. My brain wants to call it failsafe, and that's totally not right. I should have written it down. It's a cool name, but this is all about trying to get them to safety. And you find out that this character probably isn't 100% on the up and up for just being like, oh my, I'm a blind person and I can't do anything. Smile for the camera. Oh, you guys are so funny. Fearless, thank you. Fearless, which is a perfect name for them. That's all of it. Oh, dang it. I actually pulled this book this week, but I was just getting a restock on them, so it is not new. Also, I'll show you guys what you can expect for graphic novels at your local comic shop. There is the new Simon Spurrier, Alex Packnazel, The Flash graphic novel. This is the 4th volume of the series. That one might be showing up at your local comic shop. Here's one you absolutely should be reading. This one's the entirety of, well, maybe it is the entirety. 1 through 6, sorry. We're taking everyone down with us. This one's been a really hot book. I love the way this thing is started. It's Landini and Rosenberg, and it is 100% epic. You should, even if you've never read any of those books, get this graphic novel. I assure you will love it. And we get a first volume for The Future Is. I actually don't know if in this version they've printed all the covers, so you can actually get all the Capture the Flag challenges. Nope, it doesn't look like it. So if you wanted all the Capture the Flag challenges, you needed to get the regular issues, but I would not put it past them to have hidden new crazy ones in this book. It's neat. They've actually printed it on kind of like that news print weight book stuff. So they printed it so that it's only a $10 book, which is 100% awesome. And it is the new preferred size of most of my customers, which is this cool, like I call it Scholastic book size because it's not quite digest. So this one is a great thing to get if you just want to like get something for somebody in your life that's like a computer techie guy or girl. I think they would really have fun with it. Ultimate Endgame hits next week. Yeah, it's so hard for me. We have them upstairs. It's so hard for me not to just open it and read it. I want to enjoy it in real time with you guys. I don't ever really read anything that I'm doing for review ahead of time. I read it right ahead of this. So mostly because I don't think I could remember it for longer than like the half an hour to be like real specific about it. So this book is so thick. 55 blind bags. Well, since there's an opportunity to have real art in them, I think that's a smart choice. So this is Green Lantern Rebirth Compendium. Jeff Johns killing it. So just like other awesome compendiums of the same size, they've priced it the same as like all the ones I've seen, which is like $60, which is really reasonable for that much weight. You can do some workout. And then this is the last of the volume 1 absolutes being released. This is Absolute Flash. If it happens for your store the way it happened for mine, I'm already out of Absolute Martian Manhunter, and I think I'm out of also the Green Lantern stuff. So don't sleep on getting this, because there's no new prints for anything until well into the new year, like February. So see that DC plans to refocus on Kyle and Green Lantern. I would not mind that at all. I like Kyle's Green Lantern. He's a good Green Lantern. He's at least a lot of fun, right? All right. So that is the books that are coming out this week at your local comic shop. I know that tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Do make sure that you get in contact with your local comic shop to see what their hours are. I know that we're open until like 3 o'clock. I've always told Shanice is working with me tomorrow. I'm like, we're going to open until 3, but if people are still in here and needing miracles, we're going to stay open until all miracles are done. So we love helping people. That, like, most people that come in on Christmas Eve have worked their butts off every day the days before, and it's their only opportunity to be off of work to be able to come and shop. So I don't ever look at those people as like, you guys were so lazy and you didn't plan ahead. I always see the people that I see on Christmas Eve as being the hardest working people on the planet. So always happy to help them. You're either when the doors open. Awesome. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Big thanks to both Jay and Kyle, who, without them, this thing could not happen at all, because Lord knows I am not a tech person. I would just wing it. It would be me staring into my phone, and that would be no good at all. So you guys wish them Merry Christmas and give them some thumbs up, some encouragement. And just please, this year, if you want to give me something for Christmas, just tell people to tune in. I love talking to people about comic books, and it will just make my day if I have more people to tell about comic books. So thanks, everybody. Don't go anywhere. In about 12 minutes, I'm going to pop back on the channel and sell you comic books, just the same ones I just told you about. So if you have your lists, come right back. You have time to go and eat a quick meal. See you in a minute.